Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue and I am back for another This Is Us review, y'all. Alright, so we finally got like a regular formatted episode of This Is Us where we have past, present, and future. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get into my notes and we're gonna do it person for person and also by error. Look, trying to explain the format of reviewing This Is Us can sometimes boggle my brain a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with the past. All right, the kids get their report cards from school. Everybody's kind of in middle school, 12, 13, we're around that age. Kate is worrying about some boy who just dumped her. So she's wallowing in self-pity instead of worrying about her grades, okay? Randall is hell-bent on disputing, I think it was a B. Look, Rebecca and Jack are like, you know, you can give yourself a break. You know, take it easy on yourself every now and again, Randall. And Randall is like, oh, I think not. I'm gonna talk to Mrs. Such and Such when we get to school tomorrow, okay? She gonna change this grade. That's what Randall said, okay? Jack says he's just wound tightly. All right, just wound up a little tightly. He needs to get off some stress. And this is when Jack taught Randall about running. That was his way to help Randall deal with his anxiety issues. Let's go run. Let's race. That's fun. Okay, so this episode after school, even though Randall didn't want to, Jack took him to the track so that they can run and he can let off some steam and just unwound. Okay, because he's just... oh Lord, tightly wound ain't the word. Kevin, on the other hand, is worried about his 2 A's. Okay, it don't matter if I got a D, a C, a B, and 2 A's. I got my 2 A's. Y'all told me $5 per A. Where's my $10? Okay, that's how Kevin feels. Kevin wants to go and get this baseball card, a specific player that he's been looking for. So he's begging Rebecca to take him to the baseball card store all day, okay? And she's like, I got too much stuff to do. I gotta go to the bank, I gotta go to the library, I gotta go to the grocery store, I gotta, you know, do this, do that. And he's like, well, look, why don't you just pick me up from school? I'll go on all the errands with you and we can stop by the baseball card store on the way home, Mom. Come on. Like, you know how it be when you're really trying to get your mama to go somewhere she don't feel like going. When they're leaving the grocery store, Kevin tells Rebecca, you know, you're doing all of this for Kate. You're making Kate's favorite dinner because you feel bad that she's going through a breakup, and you're going to drop off books at the library for Randall because he's a nerd. Come on, Mom, you can do this for me, right? Okay, so that's what gets Rebecca. The fact that he didn't point it out that she's going throughout her day doing something for the other kids. And so, of course, you can't leave Kevin out because he will annoy the hell out of you if you try. Okay, so they go to the store and he buys the box of cards for $8.50, and he has to go through 15 packs of cards trying to find the one specific player that he's looking for, right? And at first Rebecca is kind of like, child, we got this frozen food in the car. Like, I ain't got time for all of this. But as time goes on, she starts to have a good time. You know, with every pack of cards comes a little gum that only lasts for 60 seconds. So she's chewing the gum with him. She's like, come on, let's see, open up the pack, let's see if it's in there. She starts to like enjoy herself. It was something that Kevin always had, this ability to make people live in the moment and make them just have fun for where they are right now. So in this moment, it is just Kevin and Rebecca just having this beautiful, enjoyable, regular ass day together, but something that Kevin will remember for the rest of his life, when his mom came into his world for a second. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like these next few episodes, or at least the next episode that's coming out on March 10th, will definitely, you know, be us seeing Rebecca and Kevin kind of have a newfound relationship, or just really zeroing in on Rebecca wanting to just have fun. And so she's kind of calling upon Kevin to give her that. Okay, now we're gonna get into it, you know, but that's kind of what I'm seeing from this scene. At this point, you know, with Alzheimer's looming over everybody's head, Rebecca just wants to enjoy her life, and Kevin is the perfect person to facilitate that. So Kate is still at home whining about whatever boy just broke up with her. And Jack says, you know, Kate, when I make the waffles, how we always got to throw away the first batch, you know, or the first waffle because the waffle iron is too hot. Well, you know, it just takes time, okay? You need to think about you and boys and dating just like that. You're still cooking. okay? Just give it some time. You're gonna find your person. Just letting her know, like, it's just middle school, honey. It'll be okay. I swear to God, we be all in our feelings though, huh? Child, I broke up and got back together with the same boy in middle school so many times, child. Let me think. It was Reggie. It was Reggie Miller. No, was it Miller? Was Reggie's last name Miller? Girl, child, let me tell you, Reggie was my little boyfriend on and off. Then Ryan Robinson was my little boyfriend, and you know, at that age. And then my first kiss was actually the dude at school that I hated. Like, why was my first kiss with James Cook? Me and James Cook couldn't stand each other, and somehow first kiss, James Cook. Don't understand. I'm surprised that I remember everybody's name, but there were like a few people that I will always remember as long as God gives me my faculties. Because I swear, they got people that be like, hey, Brittany. I'll be like, hey, can't remember your name. Jesus, save my soul. Like, y'all, I can't stand my wayward memory, okay? But let's get into present time. So in present time, Beth is worried about Randall, okay? She told Randall he needs to go to therapy, but at this point, she's not pressing it. He thinks this is something he needs to do for himself, but he's not seeing it the way Beth is seeing it. Beth is struggling right now, and she gotta stay strong because we the women, so we gotta stay strong no matter what. Even when we wanna fall and be weak, but we're not allowed to be weak, because we have to make sure that whatever's going on with us doesn't break our husband or our man or whoever, okay? And that's what's going on with Beth. Beth is trying to keep it together because she don't want Randall to fall apart. Because if she fall apart and Randall fall apart, who the hell gonna be together for the children? We can't do that to Deja, okay? Deja needs to be able to be a kid, okay? So I'm telling you, that's all the stuff that's probably going through Beth's head right now. Beth is also very stressed out about the robbery. It's just she isn't able to express that. So we haven't seen that really. It almost seemed like she was fine and she was doing great, but that's because we're seeing it from the point of view of the big three. So, of course, we didn't see that Beth was really bothered by the robbery because Randall didn't see that Beth was really bothered by the robbery. Y'all, I swear to God, I don't know, it would be like the pleasure of my life to work on a show like This Is Us, because their ability to get the story arc across with the production and the visual choices that they make. Because this scene with Randall in the therapy session was genius. I'm gonna tell you why, okay? First of all, we never saw the therapist until the very last second when he went back to the therapy session, okay? Because when we sat down in the therapy session, everything was aggravating him, okay? He didn't like the fact that she had a picture of an elephant with balloons on the wall. I didn't know why that was bothersome. I was like, what's the problem with the painting on the wall? He was upset about that. Then the Keurig over there is dripping water, so every time it dripped, you hear a little hiss. And that's working on his nerves. Before he even got into her office, the fact that she hadn't replaced the cups, you know, next to the water cooler made him upset. I mean, Randall is bothered by everything and then refuses to say he's bothered by it and thinks he's getting away with making you think he's okay, but really you can see him just all on edge. And all of the shots of him were close up, you know what I mean? And so it really gave you the feeling of how anxious and nervous he must have been throughout this entire ordeal of going to therapy and trying to have control of the conversation and dictate what they talk about. Like, even though he's sitting up there saying, okay, what do we do, doc? Tell me what we do. You're making corny jokes and you're trying to direct the conversation. It's a lot that he does to try to deal with the fact that he can't control the environment. And the therapist, I don't know if she did it on purpose or not, but he believes that she did it on purpose. The way she set up all of these little things to aggravate him. Because it's like, if I can keep aggravating you, then you can't keep hiding it. Then you have to tell me what's wrong. And that's a part of Randall's problem. Not admitting when something is bothering him. So I don't know if she did it on purpose. But throughout the scene with Randall, you can just see all of these little things just cracking at him and cracking at him and cracking at him. It's like those little things should not even bother you. Why are you bothered by the painting on the wall? Somebody comment down below and let me know what the hell was the problem with the painting on the wall, because I didn't know. When Randall is about to get into his story and he wants to talk about him being adopted, the therapist says, before you go down the rabbit hole, I just want to let you know that I've heard this story a few times through some of your speeches. I Googled you. And, you mentioned your upbringing and your adoption a lot. This kind of bothered Randall. Now, he's upset that she Googled him. He almost feels like it's unprofessional, like it's cheating. That's what he said. He said it was cheating for her to look him up. But I mean, I don't know if that's cheating. Is that cheating? I would want you to be well versed at who I am if you're gonna try to help me. But I guess he was caught off guard and he thought it was a judgment the way she mentioned how much he talks about his upbringing. Then they get into Randall's mommy issues and how, he feels like the bulk of his issues come from losing one father and gaining another. But really, I mean, you have to have some mommy issues because you're trying to control the conversation away from talking about Rebecca. Like, he doesn't want to talk about Rebecca's health issues right now. That's not what I'm here about. I'm here about my control issues. All of this is a part of it. Your whole life, everything that's going on with you is a part of it. So him deciding what they talk about and pushing that to the side to say, oh no, that's not why I'm here. It's him trying to control it. He gets a text from Kevin, I'm guessing it was from Kevin or Rebecca, letting him know that Kevin is taking Rebecca to her doctor's appointment, to which Randall really gets upset because he's like, oh great, now Kevin is probably going to mess that up too, because y'all know Kevin always messes everything up and Randall is always the one taking care of everybody. So we really, I mean, without the therapist having to say more than 2 words this entire time, we really get into some serious things with Randall. Like, Randall gets upset and he's like, nobody takes care of the family the way I do. If it wasn't for me, the family would have fallen apart. And the therapist is like, would it? Like, do you really think that if it weren't for you, your family would just be destitute out on the street somewhere? Like, what is that about? Like, Kevin is rich and an actor and very successful. Kate is married, successful in her own right. I mean, she isn't asking anybody for money. Rebecca and Miguel are great, even though he talked bad about Miguel, talking about Miguel missed this. That's because Miguel thought they was just being old people. That's what Miguel thought. Miguel thought, I'm just forgetting stuff too. She's forgetting stuff. Child, we old. We forget stuff. That's what Miguel thought. Because it wasn't that he didn't notice it. It's just he didn't think that it was early onset Alzheimer's. That's not the leap he took. But also, it was out of fear that he didn't take that leap. Like, Rebecca is in one way or another the love of this man's life. Like, he loves her. And the idea that something would disrupt what they have after everything they've already been through, it's just heartbreaking for Miguel. And you can tell, like, Rebecca is all Miguel has. He doesn't even have his own kids like that because of the way his ex-wife ruined their relationship. So all he has is them, and they almost disregard him in a way. Like they don't want to admit that they bothered by the fact that he's their dad's best friend. I don't know if they've ever really fully dealt with that, but everybody seems to slight Miguel in one way or another, as if he hasn't been there for their entire lives. Another thing that Randall mentioned was how when he found out about Rebecca's diagnosis, she asked for him not to tell Kate and Kevin because she didn't want to stress out Kate and Kevin, as if he doesn't have a lot going on. Like, at the end of the day, Kate has the least stuff going on. Yeah, her kid's blind. She'll be okay. She's a stay-at-home mom with a husband that takes care of the bulk of the, the money problems and all of that type of stuff. So all she has to do is worry about her baby and walking around a damn block with Lassie. Okay, so that's, I mean, I felt like, why? Like, Kevin is a actor who's rich. Like, I know you're scared he's gonna relapse, but he ain't got nothing going on right now. Randall has 3 kids, a wife. His house just got broken into. He's a city council member and he has anxiety issues. And he's the one that you put all your issues on and ask him to keep it secret while we let Kate and Kevin just be free. Like, I'm just not to say that that they are just free of the responsibility, because once they find out, of course they feel responsible for Rebecca, but it's just the point that it's always put on him. And in his mind, it's supposed to be that way because they can't handle it. And that's what he's been taught this entire time. Kate and Kevin can't handle it, but Randall, you can handle it. And I'm sorry, but there's no way for me to not draw a correlation to the way black people are thought of as somebody that can always handle everything. Like, you better not break down. You better not have an emotional break. Oh, we're scared. A black person's upset. Like, I'm sorry, y'all, but my mind instantly goes there. Racism. Randall was so upset. He got up, okay? He was like, would they? You know what? I don't even have time to explain to you how my family would fall apart if it wasn't for me. So he gets up, okay? He tells, I mean, how can I explain it to somebody who can't even turn off the Keurig, okay? He just said, you just turn it off, Doc. That's it. It's not that hard. I mean, talk to the lady down bad. We ain't never seen the lady face, okay? We just see him storm out. He goes home to Beth, and Beth is sitting on the sofa scared as hell, hoping that this went well, but obviously it didn't. He says, you know, he tried, but it's just really not for him. And Beth says, you know, Randall, I know you feel that way, but I think you need to go back and try just a couple of more times. And he said, you know, Beth, I'm not cutting it out, but right now, I don't think I need to go back. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, no, I need you to go back. And earlier that day, before he went to the doctor's appointment, he was about to get something out of her purse, and she hurry up and inject her purse from him. She didn't want him to go through her purse. So she's like, do you know why I didn't want you to go through my purse? She takes her purse and she empties it out on the sofa. First, she pulls out the pepper spray because she has to close her dance school up at night by herself sometimes. She is a little scared about that ever since the break-in, but she doesn't want to say anything to Randall because she knows that she cannot stress Randall out any more than he already is. Then she shows him the sleeping pills that she's been taking because she hasn't been sleeping well. Can't share that with him either. And then she pulls out the new iPhone that she bought for Ann because she doesn't want Ann to ever be somewhere and she can't get in contact with her. But when she told Randall about the phone that morning, she made it seem as if it was something that Ann wanted. But really, Ann doesn't want the phone. Beth wants the phone because she wants to be able to get in touch with her child whenever she has to, because she's also going through some type of PTSD from this robbery. But she can't express any of that to him because she's so scared if she lays one more thing on Randall, he's gonna crack. So she needs him to go and get help so he can be her person again, so she can rely on him and let her emotions be free to him the way he's able to do to her. And that was like the first time I think he realized the severity of the situation, because even though he's such a people pleaser, he's still very selfish in the way he goes about certain things. You know, all of them are. But Randall, when it comes to Beth, he can sometimes be blind if she isn't showing it to him. If she isn't telling it to him, he's not paying attention, which is weird when you think about how much he cares about her and how much he does to try to make sure that everybody's taken care of, but he doesn't notice that his wife needs him to be okay just so she can rely on him emotionally. And I think that's what made him feel like he had to go back to the therapist. Her saying that, I need you to do this. Bump what you going through. I need you to do this. So he goes back to therapy, apologizes to the doctor. And, you know, she says, don't even worry about it. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Because Randall needs therapy, sis. So I'm glad that he went back, okay? Ciao. So y'all, Toby and Kate, all right? Toby apologizes to Kate for what he said. But this weekend, while she was gone and they were all at the cabin, he really enjoyed the time he had with his son, and it turned over a new leaf for Toby's relationship with Jack. So Kate is not really knowing how to receive this, which she aggravates me, y'all. She annoys me because it's like this man finally tapped into what you've been talking about this whole time. You came home, your baby's fine, he is doing everything, he's sleeping with the baby, feeding the baby breakfast, like he's being hands-on the way you need him to be, and you don't know how to feel about it. How about grateful, Kate? Is that too much to ask, to just be happy with things going the way you wanted them to go? She works on my nerves, y'all. It's like she always has to have a problem. Toby says that in order to apologize to her, he created something for her, and he takes her out to the garage, and he's kind of set up a makeshift studio. Now, they haven't bought all the pieces yet, but he's like, you know, got cardboard with the speakers drawn on it with marker, just trying to show where everything would go. And she's just like, Toby, stop. Toby, I really appreciate the gesture and everything. This is really nice, but I just need more time. I just need more time. And Toby's just like, okay. You know what I'm saying? You could just, why did she do this? Then she gets a text message from Madison. Madison wants to meet up and have an apology brunch to apologize for sleeping with Kevin. And when Kate tells Toby this, he's like, I know we going through something like this, but please give me permission to react. What? Child, later on in the episode, he was like, oh my God, Madison isn't going to be my sister-in-law, is she? And Kate was like, no. And I was like, I think she might be, sir. I think she might be. So they go to brunch, Madison and Kate. And she apologizes for sleeping with Kevin, but at the same time, letting her know that it was something glorious. It was nice, okay? She was like, can I tell you about something your brother did to me? She's like, no, I don't want to hear about this. But Kay says that, you know, this couldn't have happened at a worse time. I'm already going through all of this with Toby. You know, I really wasn't in the mood for anything extra. And Madison is like, well, what's going on? Talk to me. You know, I'm your friend. Talk to me. So she talks to her about Toby and the baby and everything. So we kind of sped through the conversation. And Madison says, do you want to know why I think I slept with your brother? And Kay is like, no. But she goes on anyway. She says, because I think for the first time it was nice to be with someone who just knew me already. Somebody I didn't have to pretend to be perky for. Somebody who's seen me at my worst, at the hospital with you or at your house when I'm completely unaware of, you know, your sexy celebrity brother standing right next to me. Like, she's had the ability to be herself around Kevin, and that is the thing that she envies about Toby and Kate's relationship, that they can be 100% themselves with one another. And she turns this back around on Kate, and she's like, isn't that what Toby is supposed to be able to do, to let you know what his deepest fears are without you judging him for it? Like, isn't that what marriage is about? I said, how your single friend give you the game, Kate? How your single friend give you the game, Kate? Yeah, Madison just let her, I mean, Madison nicely read the shit out of Kate and told her, that's your husband. He's supposed to be able to say how he's feeling without you judging him, for dear God. For how he's feeling about something that nobody can tell you how to feel. Like, his son is blind. You can't tell him how to feel about that, Kate. At least he's showing up. But Kate is worried about whether he's doing it just to make her happy or because he really means it. And it's like, what difference does it damn make? The man is there and he's taking care of his child, and that's all you need to be worrying about. So Kate gets home, and Toby's on the sofa, and Jack just fell asleep. And I'm like, girl, you better love on this man while he's doing what he's supposed to do with this damn baby. Like, I don't know. It was a turn on to me to see him taking care of the baby this episode. Maybe it was just me. Kate was missing all the sexiness of Toby's big muscular ass taking care of this baby, because I was turned on by it personally. I was like, look at him holding a baby. He got strong back muscles. Like, my mind was saying, sorry. Okay, look. Anyway, so she says, you know I really wasn't into it at first, but please show me, you know, the studio. Show me the music studio. I love you. I'm sorry for being an asshole, you know, whatever. Takes her out to the garage and he shows it to her. He says, I didn't even show you the best part. And he pulls up this sheet, and it's this playpen with all of these musical instruments in it for Jack, so he can be there and play while she's making her music. I mean, had no idea how it would be so instrumental, okay, pun intended, in their son's life. This is where baby Jack really learned his music and started to love it, because his mom played the music in front of him and he would play the piano. And then as time went on, y'all, we got to see him in that garage playing music as a kid with Kate watching him, and then him starting his own band, and then him being an adult creating his own music in that studio. You know, obviously blind, but still being able to do everything that he's supposed to be able to do. Like, as far as this music thing, it was just so touching to see that montage, y'all. To see like this one thing, you know, Toby deciding to create the garage into a music studio for Kate and the baby, and see how that really like made this man this great artist that he is, you know, in the future. So it really touched me and made me feel some type of way. And I don't know what's gonna happen with Toby and Kate, but I can bet you any money it's gonna be Kate's fault. I don't know, but y'all, she be working on my nerves, y'all. She be working on my nerves. So y'all, Kevin. So Kevin goes to see Rebecca, y'all. This is the first time he's seen her since he found out about the diagnosis. And his face tells the whole truth that Randall and Kate have, you know, told him about Rebecca's diagnosis. And she's like, oh, you know, I didn't want you to worry about me, and I really wanted to tell you in person. He says, don't worry about that. He's there to make sure that she is okay. And then Miguel comes out. They were supposed to be going to an old record store because, you know, Rebecca's living her life like it's golden. She wants to do everything that she's ever wanted to do, and going to one of those old record stores was one of them. Miguel is like, you know what? You tiring me out. So why don't you and Kevin go and make a day of it, just the two of y'all? I'ma chill. Just make sure you have her back for her doctor's appointment at 4:30. Kevin's like, great, I could do that. So they go to the record store, and Rebecca listens to Joni Mitchell. Y'all know how much Rebecca loves Joni Mitchell. Child, I love Joni Mitchell. Case of You is my favorite song by Joni Mitchell. Rebecca tells Kevin the story about how when she and Jack first went to LA, they really tried to find Joni Mitchell's house, but they couldn't find it, so they gave up. And Kevin is like, why don't we do it, Mom? Why don't we find Joni Mitchell's old house? And she's like, how would we do that? And he's like, Siri, find Joni Mitchell's old house. And they find it, and they go, and they ring the doorbell, but nobody answers, but the gate is open. So they walk into the garden, and she tells him the story about how Joni Mitchell, and I forgot the guy's name, but the famous guy who sings that song, Our House. And I know that song. So I was like, oh, okay, I know that song. But I didn't know the guy. I don't know Joni Mitchell's whole life story, y'all. And I'm not like Rebecca. I don't know all of those facts that she gave. But it was just basically a story about how that song was written just one day, a regular day. She bought a vase, and she picked flowers, and he put on a fire. And it was just such a simple day, but turned into such a beautiful song. And it's reminiscent of how we have these very small moments in our lives that make up these huge stories for us. And I think even the garage with Toby and Kate is an example of that. You know, just this one day where Toby decided to do something as small as make a little makeshift studio in the garage, and how that gave their son music stardom. Like, you see what I'm saying? So I think that is the idea that's strung together about how these small moments, these little small things, make such a huge impact on a person's life. So Kevin asks Rebecca if she's scared, and she says yeah, but she doesn't want to think about that right now. And she's with him, and she wants to be in the moment. And she says, you know, Kevin, that was always something that you always could do. And it's sometimes the best thing you can give to somebody is to help them stay in the moment, help them live in the moment, and just have fun. When she says sometimes making people forget about their worries is the most important thing you can do for someone, I was like, damn, I feel like that's what I do on YouTube. At least that's what I hope I do on YouTube. And if that's the case, I'm very happy that that is the gift that God gave me, because I know how I feel when other people, you know, give me that. So Rebecca wants to skip her MRI results, but Kevin doesn't want to be the irresponsible one in the family anymore. So he says that they can do something else tomorrow, but today they're gonna go to the doctor and get these MRI results. So they go, and they find out that it is early onset Alzheimer's. And Rebecca and Miguel clutched each other's hands, and you can see how Miguel just wanted to break down in that moment. It was just a lot. But they get home, and Rebecca asks for Kevin not to treat her differently. And Kevin goes to a baseball card store, and he finds that card that he was looking for that Rebecca actually found for him back when he was a little boy. I guess after the fire and everything, he lost his baseball collection. But he goes and he buys that card, and he puts it in his wallet. And I'm guessing whenever he sees that card, he's gonna think about the heart of his experience with his mother. You know what I'm saying? And I think that day in the baseball card store, chewing the gum, going through the cards, I think that is like the moment he will always remember with his mom. And y'all, that made me so emotional. I'm emotional right now. Like, I'm emotional right now with that, okay? Because like I'm a firm believer in keeping certain things to attach your memories to. Like, y'all can't see, but right now behind the camera are 2 Jazz Fest and Heritage posters. 2 of the few things that made it through Katrina were these Jazz and Heritage Festival posters, and I hang them in my den. They were in my parents' den in our home where we grew up. I look at them now and feel a sense of peace, because that was what my parents created in our home. Y'all, my dogs are going crazy. But anyway, that was This Is Us. I really enjoyed the episode. I hope y'all enjoyed my my constant pontification of the episode. But I'm gonna let y'all go because my dog's acting a fool. All right, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one.